we led the show talking about Philip Rivers' retirement, and the man who broke that news in the San Diego Union-Tribune with one of the best 5-word leads you'll ever see. He wrote, and this summed it all up, quote unquote, "The time has come, dadgummit." Kevin Acee here on the Rich Eisen Show. Outstanding, Kevin. I laughed out loud when I read your first line of your story.
I didn't think it could be anything else, but thank you, Rich.
Of course, it summed it up perfectly. So did you just get a call last night from Phil, or has this potentially been in the hopper and it was decided this day it would be done? Can you walk me through how this all came about, if you don't mind?
Yeah, he gave me a call last night, and I was expecting at some point that might happen, but I never talked to him about it. Since I got off I was a columnist actually at the end of his time.
Yep.
But since I stopped really writing about the Chargers, when we talk, I've kept it real, more like between friends and all that. But I had a feeling he was going to give a call. He actually spent the first 5 minutes talking about the Padres and their off season. And for a minute, I'm thinking maybe he's just checking in. And then he said that he was going to retire and he wanted me to break it.
No kidding. So that's where you grab your pen and pad or record something, or that's when you say, "Let me get something ready here." Is that how that works, Kevin? That's amazing.
Yeah, this was the big one, and I was somewhat shocked. At first, I said, "Look, I think this is great because I know if you made this decision, then I know you're at peace with it." And then, of course, basically, I didn't even ask questions. As you know, Philip just talked. And so he was freewheeling. We've always been that way, where he trusts me to put down my thought or, to organize his thoughts and put it into a story. And, like he texted me afterward and was like, it's like old times. And that's what it was. Honestly, it says so much about Philip that he called up the guy who covered him because of his affinity for San Diego, and that's how he wanted it to be broken. I just wouldn't expect anything different from him. I know it gets diminished because we throw these absolute words around, but he is a great human being.
Kevin Acee here on the Rich Eisen Show. He is, and the way I summed it up to start the show, Kevin, is the ultimate gamer. The ultimate gamer. All he wanted was a helmet and pads. That's all he wanted, and 10 other guys that would follow his infectious love of the game, and like a child, like literally like a kid who gets to get out there at age 7, age 8. He just happens to be age 37. Like that's the way. I will always remember Philip Rivers, the ultimate gamer. Never out of a game, always fighting to the last second. I love the guy. I love watching him play.
I think you nailed it. There's 2 ways that Philip has not changed from the first time that I met him, 17 years ago. And one of them is that he's a really good guy. He is who he is. And to me, there just aren't many people like that. And the other is what you said. He loves to play. And he had a lot of fourth quarter comebacks and a lot of fourth quarter tries that fell short. And but he was always in it. And I'll tell you, he never thought he was out of it. Of those, whatever it was, I think 240 straight starts. I think he didn't finish only a couple of them. It didn't matter what the score was. Philip was going to play.
I'm going to ask you the $1 million question, Kevin Acee, San Diego Union-Tribune, former beat writer of the Chargers, now columnist, and broke the story of Philip Rivers' retirement right here on the Rich Eisen Show. The $1 million question, sir. And if you had the answer, obviously you might be in the town where the Raiders currently play. So why didn't Philip win at all? What would be the answer to that question when the conversation about his Hall of Fame worthiness comes up? Well, no rings. So why didn't Philip win it all with the Chargers?
He played for the Chargers. There was a lot of bad luck. If you think about in 2006, Marlon McCree's fumble after the Chargers had seemingly were just about to ice the game. Philip was also hurt then. 2007, he played in that championship game against the Patriots without an ACL. Had surgery the next week. He didn't play his best in the postseason. There were times where, for all that I could talk about how great he was, and he was arguably one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the league for a good 3-4 year period there last decade. he made mistakes. He threw some inopportune passes that were intercepted. But when his offense was really good, sometimes their special teams was monumentally bad. I think Phillip had bad luck. I remember doing stories on why hasn't this happened, especially when Eli Manning, the guy he was traded for, won 2. And I believe there were a lot of people around the league who felt that their situations were reversed, that Phillip would have his hardware, and Eli Manning very well might not.
So, pound the table. Who's going to be the one pounding the table for Phillip in the Hall of Fame room? Who's going to be who's the Southern California representative with Chargers ties that could do that? Is that going to be you? Do you have a vote for that sort of thing, Kevin, or who would be that person?
I was in the room, but I don't anymore. I spend my time covering baseball. I'm not sure who it will be. I'm not sure how they moved on to replace me since the Chargers are no longer in San Diego. There haven't been a whole lot of people that watched it there that have been watching them long enough in Los Angeles. If I were making the argument, I would have a whole bunch of stats and also say the things that I did and have testimonials from the guys who played with him and played against him. I do know, having been in that room, the emphasis that is placed by a lot of voters, rightly so, maybe overly so for some, but on championships. And I do know that it's going to be an uphill climb for Phillip maybe the first couple of years.
Well, if it's not an uphill climb in the first year, Kevin, could you imagine him and Breeze going in together? Mm-hmm. What would that be? I mean, could you imagine if I had told you that ever, that it's possible?
Did you, 2004, when Drew Brees, when they drafted Eli Manning and then traded right away for Phillip. And if Phillip Rivers had reported to camp on time, Drew Brees almost certainly would not have got his shot with the Chargers. And then Drew did what he did, which is one of the great sports stories of all time, the belief Drew Brees has in himself and what he turned that into. So, yeah, wow. I might even go and I imagine I will anyway, but that would really be special.
And not to be, I guess overly dramatic, but I've got that gene in me, Kevin Acee. Gates is retired. Now it's Phillip. LT's already in the Hall. Is this the end of the San Diego Chargers? I mean, who might there be out there? Is it Keenan Allen, right? I mean, who can carry this onward now? Or is this it, do you think, Kevin?
Keenan was just getting to be Keenan when they were in San Diego. I think that for a lot of San Diegans, this is it. First, he went to play for the Colts, but there was still heck, this might be it for the NFL for some San Diegans. But Phillip was the tie that kept a lot of Chargers fans involved in the Chargers and in the league. So I think symbolically, yeah, this is it.
And Phillip's going to be a dynamite coach, isn't he? Right? I mean, his dad coached him, and now, right?
Imagine what these kids are getting at St. Michael Catholic High School in Alabama in terms of, oh my gosh. Can you imagine the trash talk that is going to be happening, him and these teenagers?
His is going to probably be cleaner than the teenagers, right?
Oh, it'll be cleaner, and he won't tolerate anything different. But anybody who's seen any of the videos, anybody who's watched the Chargers practice, you have to be so creative to be that good and not say the F word. And his trash talk is just fantastic. And sometimes it's even uplifting. It puts you down and lifts you up. I just honestly, you touched a button there because I cannot imagine what these kids are going to be able to experience. And it's pretty amazing. His dad coached him. He's going to end up coaching his son in a couple of years. For all that he ever wanted to be an NFL quarterback, I know you're not going to believe me, but right up there in his goals and his dreams was being a high school football coach.
Well, now he's going to live that dream out. And Kevin, I mean, everyone should seek out your scoop and your story because it does perfectly capture Phillip Rivers. And so did J.J. Watt's tweet. I don't know if you saw it, but you want to talk about his helpful smack talk, him telling a story about how he pointed out to one of the Texans linebackers, telling him he was lined up wrong based off the blitz we were about to run and being 100% correct about it. And then the last line, I think, sums it up about Phillip. One of the smartest I've ever played against and a hell of a competitor. That is a perfect way to put it from J.J. Watt. You know?
And then J.J. Watt, I believe, sent a follow-up tweet where he put asterisk heck of a, which I assume was in respect to Philip.
Kevin, thanks for the call. Great scoop. Let's stay in touch. Certainly, since you're talking baseball, and we'll talk Padres because you guys have got some generationally talented people on one team. How about that for the San Diego Padres?
It's exciting. It soothes a little bit for the San Diego fans. I really appreciate it, man.
Right back at you. That's Kevin Acee. Everybody should check it out at SDUT Kevin Acee, ACEE, on Twitter to see his story. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.